How the fuck's it going, everyone? Back yet again. Don't tell me I never do anything for yous. This is the same day as I filmed the last one that came, that I posted yesterday. I'm back again with another just installment of the vinyl update series. I'm just kind of cranking them out as the records are coming in, and I've still got plenty to show yous. Hope your weekend went very nicely. I hope the start of your work week has gone smoothly, or as smoothly as possible so far. Yeah, so I'm basically just going to give you a few records to check out. These ones are slightly more well-known and slightly less obscure than the ones, or some of the ones that I showed in yesterday's vid, but regardless, hopefully it just inspires you to go and check them out, inspires you to go and listen to them again if you need reminding of just how fucking sick some of these records are. But yeah, first of all, what we've got going on in the background, if I can spit my words out, this is Accidental Suicide with their debut and only full-length album entitled Deceased. I showed this one in the last vid, so I'm not going to go too much into detail here. Basically, fantastic, kind of straightforward death metal with a kind of bit of a doomier tinge out of Milwaukee, USA. Absolutely killer shit. Great songwriting here. Sounds just familiar yet fresh, because this is one of those gems that just needed unearthing and slapping on our dinner table. Yeah, sink your fangs into this bad boy. It's absolutely wonderful. If you like death metal in any facet, you can't go wrong with this. It's got that lovely 90s sound, so crisp, so sort of caveman-esque. Tons of attitude, no frills. Go and check it out. Accidental Suicide with Deceased to kick things off. Check that shit out in the background, and of course in your own time, just so you can hear it without my bullshit ramblings. But yeah, it's still sweltering. I'm still burning to death over here. So I've got myself an orange juice just to keep myself refreshed and hydrated throughout this, so bear with me. I can't be drinking iced coffee all day, or what I've been calling iced coffee to sound fancier than I actually am. Yeah. So, what I've got here is 2 death metal records and 1 funeral doom record. So, slightly different thematic kind of scheme going on in this vid. I am just showing off what I've got left, basically. I've got 2 2023 releases and 1 from 2008, I want to say. However, I will correct that as and when I get to it. First of all, I'm going to show off this one, which came in a few days ago. Been super stoked to listen to this properly, get into the kind of fat of this thing. The album that I'm talking about here is the brand new full-length album from US Funeral Doom project out of Seattle, Washington, Bell Witch. This is their brand new full-length album entitled, what the fuck is this thing called again? Future's Shadow, Part 1, The Clandestine Gate. Slight mouthful, hence the forgetfulness. However, this is the opening installment of a projected trilogy from Bell Witch. This is their first album since 2017's Mirror Reaper. And it is another one-track whopper from this project. It's about 1 hour and 21 minutes in length. It's an absolute beast of an album. So yeah, let's just get into kind of my first thoughts on this thing, and what I'm kind of expecting from the next installment of this trilogy. Basically, the first thing that you notice upon kind of beginning this kind of huge voyage of an album is, I mean, the similarities in sound to Mirror Reaper. Lots of very sparse rhythm notes, organs and synths kind of float along in the background, creating a ton of tension and atmosphere. It's really got its own sound, or Bell Witch do in general have their own sound, very much kind of down to a T, basically. They know exactly what they're doing, a very unique sound. But unlike Mirror Reaper, which kind of, it drifts in with kind of more ambient sort of with a more ambient sort of style. However, this one takes an awful long time to get into the true kind of body of the album. You don't really get any Funeral Doom or any of the kind of heavier Funeral Doom elements until, like, I'm sure it's a good 10 to 15 minutes into the album. Until then, you've just got like a really kind of emotive sort of section, just drifting the album in, introducing you to what I assume is just the introduction of the entire trilogy. There's no messing around. There's no messing around in terms of the sluggishness and the sort of challenging aspect of like Funeral Doom in general. They don't mind that building kind of constructive element of songwriting in general. Once the Funeral Doom, once the kind of ambience of the Funeral Doom kind of drops out, we eventually get like a full flourish of that kind of disgusting, crushing sound. It's completely thought-provoking, heart-wrenching, soul-crushing, really dense guitar tone, rumbling, gurgling vocals again. Really, really beautiful stuff though. They don't mind kind of dotting between the ambience and the kind of really, really unforgiving nature of their sound. This does feel like an introductory record, so I'm expecting a little bit more of the heavy kind of actual metal in part 2 of Future's Shadow. However, this is wonderful again. If you liked Mirror Reaper, if you like any of their earlier albums before that, you will enjoy this. It might just take you a little bit longer to get into it because of that enormous intro. But yeah, this is as immersive, as thought-provoking as ever before, and it's absolutely fantastic. Go and check it out. Front cover there, love this artwork, probably my favourite artwork of the year so far. It's got like mountains with lightning going on in the background. We've got some really weird shit going on down here. There's like a trumpety kind of looking thing or a wind instrument with people going into it. With some like creepy spider things. It reminds me of those like centipedes off Bloodborne that drop the arcane haze. And then we've got like a bit of a fiery affair going on over here with some sort of dragon looking thing. There's just a ton going on. It's the kind of artwork that you just want to have a look at, stare at, immerse yourself in whilst you're lost in the album, especially an album as densely packed as this thing is. Yeah man, just look at that, it's beautiful, absolutely beautiful. Back cover there, you've got the band logo there, which is quite simple. It's just in kind of arcane like font, with the album title there and the track there. It's just one enormous track, and you've got a few credits down the bottom here. On the inside we've got some kind of zoomed in kind of pictures that are featured on this front cover, just so you can have a kind of closer look at them. And you've got the lyrics and things in there. I haven't actually delved very deep into the lyrics yet, but I certainly will, just to get a grasp of what the kind of trilogy is all about. But yeah, can't wait to do that basically. And the discs themselves come on these beautiful kind of light blue sort of silver and purple splatter. That's definitely not as they advertised it. It's just as well they don't have me writing the descriptions of the discs, because I always just make sure. But yeah, stunning stuff. This is a double LP and they both look like that. Gorgeous stuff, goes beautifully with the artwork. In fact, I will show you that just so you can see the pairing. It's very like lightning-esque, just fits it absolutely splendidly. So yeah, if you like Funeral Doom, this one might even be challenging for you, just because of how slow and how sparse it is. However, just give yourself some time. Mirror Reaper took me years to get into, so it's just as well it's been so long between their albums. But once I got into it properly, there was no looking back, and this was an instant pre-order purchase. Go and check that out. Bell Witch Future's Shadow Part 1, The Clandestine Gate. Absolutely magnificent stuff. It just kind of embodies everything I love about Funeral Doom, and indeed about Bell Witch themselves. So yeah, go and check that out. Absolute sadness, melancholy, all of those kind of synonyms. Brilliant stuff. Okay, and that leaves us with two less challenging death metal records. This stuff is here to kind of render your flesh as opposed to make you think about anything particularly. So yeah, the first album I want to show is an album that I've been waiting for a repress of for a long time. These guys recently split up, unfortunately, but now they're going back through their back catalogue, repressing their shit. This was because of, I believe this was the 10th anniversary of this album, perhaps. But yeah, let's get into it. This is Hail of Bullets out of Rotterdam, the Netherlands, with their debut full-length album entitled Of Frost and War. Now, if you're not familiar with Hail of Bullets, they started out as a kind of almost a tribute band to the death metal scene in general and what they loved about it. They kind of banded together because at the time, the death metal scene kind of between 2000 and 2010 was a little bit stagnant, or it was beginning to stagnate. And these guys wanted to just rekindle the love for death metal and everything that was great about it. This contains or is comprised of members of Asphyx and Grand Supreme Blood Court and projects like that. Martin Van Drunen on vocals on this thing. This is World War II themed, straightforward, in your face, meat and potatoes death metal. Lots of kind of melody on this thing, which brings to the forefront that kind of emotive aspect and the emotive kind of connotations of war, as in the complete misery, the tragedy and the hopelessness of the front line, the trenches, rat-infested kind of mud and decomposing corpses. This thing just is littered with just pure pain. Martin Van Drunen's vocals, obviously the howled, pained kind of screams of his, just set the record apart from lots of other death metal bands. So it's got that like blistering drumming that feels like you're being peppered with gun shrapnel. It feels like there are bullets, hails of bullets if you will, just kind of cross-fired across you, with not a lot you can do about it. It's just got a fantastically kind of unique feel to it. The war theme kind of leaks out of this thing like sweat through pores. It is absolutely fantastic. My favourite track on here is unquestionably Advancing Once More. The kind of vocal hook and the structuring of that track is mesmerising. So cleverly done. Yeah, what more is there to say? It's brilliantly written. They knew exactly what they were doing when they set out to make this record, and they put it to paper and put it to record perfectly. Go and check that out if you like bands like Asphyx, Grand Supreme Blood Court, Pestilence, any of the Netherlands bands of that ilk. This is a true celebration of that, and it does it justice perfectly. Front cover there shows like a decimated street with like tanks and dead soldiers, and it just basically gives off that chaotic vibe that they're going for. And yeah, it's instantly recognizable. I love the kind of blood spots, kind of, it looks like blood splattered concrete or something, and it looks absolutely great. This is entitled Of Frost and War, by the way. I don't even think I said that, I got too excited. But yeah, that's the front cover. Back cover there, you've got the track listing and more of that blood splatter and a exploded tank and things. This was repressed through Metal Blade Records. This is quite a long release. I think it's about 50 minutes in length, so it's an extensive thing. They came here with no messing around, but there is somehow no filler on this, despite the long runtime. There's the picture of the band there. This is a 5-piece. And a picture of a tank there with their brilliantly kind of recognizable logo, and you've got some of the credits and things like that. Really nice layout. And this was actually meant to be a black, red and clear splatter, but instead we just got clear with red splatter. But I love that. I love the kind of blood splattered effect that it seems to have. It kind of goes with the blood spots that you see on the jacket there. Stunning splatter, no messing around. I hate it when labels kind of advertise things as splatter variants and they've just got like a couple of sparse spots around. But yeah, absolutely no issues with that aside from the lack of black splatter there. But yeah, as I say, I am definitely not upset about that. So yeah, if any of that sounds good to you, if you like death metal in general, please go and check this out. It's absolutely sizzling. It doesn't stop for the full runtime. It will shoot you until you are close to death, and then it will burn you to death with a flamethrower while you're bleeding out on the ground. That's Hail a Bullet of Frost and War. Doesn't get much better than that, if you ask me. I'm really hoping Of Divine Winds gets the same sort of vinyl treatment or repress treatment, if you will, but yeah, we'll cross that bridge when we come to it, eh? And finally, I've got an album here that I really didn't expect to love as much as I have. This is a band that split up in, I want to say 2006 maybe, and they have been completely inactive up until this year. And the band that I'm talking about is Sweden's Vomitory, with their brand new full-length album entitled All Heads Are Gonna Roll. So yeah, I didn't bother pre-ordering this thing, A, because of the kind of ring rust that I was expecting from them, just because of the layoff. They have had a band called Cut Up, which has been, well, relatively active in the meantime. However, I didn't love that work, so I didn't want to pre-order this just in case, even though I enjoyed the first single. And also, I really thought that album title was super fucking goofy. It sounded like they'd run out of ideas, so I was like, right, I'm going to make sure I listen to this before I actually kind of commit to buying it, because I like a lot of things that I was going to buy before this. But once I listened to it, my interest was well and truly piqued. If you're not familiar with Vomitory, first of all, they play like a sort of Stockholm-style Swedish death metal, buzzsawing HM2 guitars, really chunky stuff, really straightforward, nothing kind of fancy, no frills yet again. But yeah, this thing, it's so well written that it just completely took me by surprise. If you told me a while ago that I was going to be enthusing about a new Vomitory album like this and getting this excited about a new like bit of material from this band, I'd have laughed in your face. But man, the drumming is so pummeling. I absolutely love a lot of the fills that go on in this thing. Really quite complex and, well, surprisingly so, to be honest. The vocals, I've heard a few people saying his vocals are getting weak, but they're still as recognizable as ever. Almost a little bit windy, like there's air trapped in his voice. And it's very gruff and kind of raspy as well, which just, I don't know, he sounds really, really fucking unique. Nobody else sounds like this guy. The riffs are sizzling, seething, absolutely stick in your head, clog your brain up. You can't help but nod your head all the way through. And finally, the production is absolutely perfect. It complements the instrumentation beautifully. There is nothing lost on this thing. It's just chunky riffs, bellowing vocals, blistering drumming, and you've got some lovely solo lead work in there as well. It's just, again, like the Hail a Bullet record, it's just a celebration of modern death metal, and really, really, I can't recommend this enough. Go and check it out if you want a bit of fun. If you just want to get your teeth stuck into some like straightforward death metal, there are very few that will hit the spot quite like this. At first I kind of hated the artwork because it looks very kind of digitally rendered to me, which kind of, yeah, that also put me off as well, but it's grown on me a little bit. Just shows like a machete-wielding maniac with somebody running away in the background here. I assume that's going to be his next victim, with like bodies laying around him, blood everywhere. I like the colour scheme and everything, but yeah, it's just not my favourite artwork. Back cover there, I actually prefer that artwork, I think. It's just the guy clutching the head, the decapitated head, by its hair, which is really cool. And then you've got the track listing there. This was another Metal Blade Records release. I got these at the same time, I got this at the same time as the Hail of Bullets record, I should say, if I can fucking spit my words out today. And this one came on a really nice kind of silver or grey, whatever you want to call it, with black splatter vinyl. Absolutely love that shit. I don't have too many records that look like that, despite the kind of common colour scheme, but yeah, really, really beautiful stuff. Yeah, man, one of the biggest surprises of the year, I've got to say, from a band that I didn't expect to hear from ever again, to be honest. So yeah, a very, very nice surprise. Welcome back, Vomitory. Absolutely killer shit, man. Vomitory, all heads are gonna roll. Please make sure the title is better next time, but it's just, that's me nitpicking. The music's excellent, and that's the main thing. Please go and check that out. Vomitory, all heads are gonna roll. Metal Blade Records. Yeah, go and check that out. So yeah, that concludes the latest installment of my vinyl update series that I have been doing. I hope you are doing well. I don't know when I'll be back next. I've got that album review, the individual album review, that I would like to do very shortly. I'm not going to keep promising that though, because it keeps getting put on the back burner for whatever reason. But yeah, I will be back fairly shortly, but I'm not promising anything. Thank you so much for sticking around anyway in the meantime. Hope you find plenty to enjoy in those 2 vids, or those 3 vids, or whatever I've done. I will look forward to coming back. I've been really enjoying these. I feel like the rust is clearing a little bit, you know, when I can actually verbalise and my words work. But yeah, you know me by now. I mispronounce and misspeak all the goddamn time. So yeah, anyway, I'll pop all the band and album titles in the description, because I've been fucking up and forgetting to do that recently. So yeah, go and check it out. Go and check everything out. Let me know in the comments if you found anything cool in amongst them. Take care as always. Hopefully I haven't sweated to death today in the meantime, and I'll see you next time. I will catch you in the next one.